And we're back. Hello, everybody, for part two. If you've made it this far, we're very thankful. And if you're just joining us, this is part two. We've already been on talking for 2 hours. And this is Women Like Me. And we're glad that you're joining us. Be sure to join us in the chat. I'm watching the chat. So, if you pop in there and you want to say hello, be sure and do. We'd love to have you join us. If you're listening and you're just hiding in the background, I do that. I like hide the background on people's shows.
I do that too.
Sometimes I'm not, if I'm sleepy or something, or it's, I'm just getting ready for bed and I'm just sort of laying there, kind of watching it. I don't really want to type anything, I don't want to chat. So I'll just peruse the show and they'll be like, hey, if you're there in the background, join us, join us in the chat. And like, sometimes I'm like, hi, I'm just watching.
I do that.
Sometimes I say hi, not always. But yeah, I do follow quite a few of those ones that do have chat rooms, like Marfugal TV. I'll give a few shout outs. New York Prepper, I do like that guy. He's in Pennsylvania, but he's originally from New York. But he's got a YouTube channel called New York Prepper. He's really good.
He's cool.
Canadian Prepper's awesome. Canadian Prepper doesn't do any live streams. He does all videos, but he's still really knowledgeable. And Marfugal TV and Marfugal News. Those guys are really cool. Adam and Dex. So I'm always in their chat room. And yeah, because I love their shows. So yeah, so yeah, feel free. Join us here. If you want to pop in and say hi, please do. We'd love to have you say hi. And we're back for part two. How do you like the new screen? I changed it to the wider, full version, so that we can see what we're doing and you can see us.
It seems nicer. Like everyone is so small. I can see you. Before I couldn't see you. Now I can actually see you. It's funny because when I was talking to my mom this morning, I told her about us doing these shows. And I said, Mom, I always look like I have my eyes closed. And she's like, why? And I said, because I'm always looking down. And she's like, well, why are you looking down? And I said, well, I have to look down to see Lori. And she's like, well, just look right at her. And I'm like, I don't understand when you're doing the shows, like the camera's up here. So you have to kind of like look, and she's like, well, move your camera higher. And I'm like, I said, it is, but I have to look down to look at Lori. And like, she was telling me like all these different things to try. And I thought, if I start doing them on here, people's going to be like, what the hell is she looking at?
That's it. If I look at my camera here, I'm looking right at my camera right now. I'm looking up because my camera's actually up.
It's up. Yeah.
So
you look
up here.
Up. Yeah. But see, I look at you, so I'm looking down.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to see you. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then it looks like we're looking down. Yeah. So then I always look like I'm sleeping. It's like, I'm here, but I'm really not.
The one interview we did with Aaron Bernstein, Lee said something to me in the chat, and I looked up, and when I looked up, I looked like I was like looking around, like I was looking in space, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to look back down. And then I'm thinking, I hope nobody notices that.
That was funny, but that's because we had four, like a split screen into four, because there was four of us. So you had to kind of look, if you wanted to see them, you did have to look up a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny because it looked like you're looking off in space somewhere, right?
Well, my sister, she's like, what were you looking at? And I said, I was looking up at Lee. And she's like, well, what are you looking at? And I said, I was looking up at Lee. Like when you're doing it, the camera's not like you would think it would be. you know?
It's funny. Side to side's not too bad, like how we are tonight. But when you have more and you have 3 or 4, it starts getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because you're really.
I like this new view, though. I like the new view because I can see you.
Yeah. Well, we can see us. I mean, the other one is so small. I thought, I'll change it up and see if you like it or not.
I do.
Some people don't like this one because it really does then show who you are. But we're all over the.
This is the best I'm going to get.
I mean, maybe you do know if you're watching this. But we're quite a bit all over the media, so we don't care. Whatever.
This is the best I can be at this age.
It doesn't matter. Seriously. And at this time of night, definitely. You know what I mean? After a hard day's of work, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you worked all day and I did Tai Chi all day. So. Yeah, I had to actually stop Tai Chi. I was doing so much today that I did I don't know, almost 3 hours worth of Tai Chi.
Oh,
And
wow.
my ankle actually almost wanted to give out. So I was like, oh, that's it for me. Yeah. Because my
Why'd you
bad
do
ankle
so much
just doesn't
today?
like to do that much activity, you know.
Why was the class so long?
Because I wanted to get in on all these live streams that were happening.
Okay.
No, it was 3 different classes. Yeah, 3 different classes.
Okay. That's cool.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
What are you doing to me, man? I heard this pop. I'm like, okay, no, that's it. I'm done for the day. Now it's time to rest. But I wasn't working out that hard. It's Tai Chi. So, it's like grasp the moon, rotate the moon. We're talking very slow movements. It's not like a hard workout,
Oh, that's cool.
So
I still love that.
Yeah.
I think it looks like
Well, I'm just getting in on all these live streams. Yeah.
I think it looks like so much like a dance. And like when you're watching the people do it, it looks so like, I don't know, like so smooth and like well rehearsed. I really like it.
Yeah. It is actually really rehearsed. I mean, to do the real traditional Tai Chi, you got to know all the movements and where to go, what to do. In the flows, which we're doing mostly flows, a lot of these live streams are flows, but some of them I'm actually doing the Yang Style 24 form, and that's specifically a set of moves. So, it's like, that's why it looks like a choreographed dance, because everybody's doing the same moves. And there's I forget how many. It's very cool. Yeah, when a group of people get together and do it, it's really nice. Like, Paul Lamb, that guy that I bought all those DVDs from, Dr. Paul Lamb. He's the Tai Chi teacher, and he's really good. But his is so technical that I couldn't start out doing it. So that's why I went over to this Begin with Breath, because it's a little easier for me to grasp this guy, because he was going a little slower pace and not so technical with the flows, which then got me to be able to do the stuff. Because some of the moves are really difficult.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think so. It's Tai Chi, but some of the moves are, you're moving, you're standing there and you got to move your foot out. You're already like in a bow step, and then you got to go 45-degree angle the opposite way. And my hips and my ankle doesn't do that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I have to work into this. So yeah, it's a work in progress. Yeah, it's so much fun.
I did it for a couple weeks and I liked it. I really liked it. But then the summer come to an end and I went back to work, and then I just never picked back up on it.
Yeah, no, it's something, to be honest. I mean, it does take time. Like, there's no time limit. You can do it all your life if you want to just slowly learn it. But it's like anything else. It takes practice. And right now, I figure I'm trying to get in better physical shape, like I said, because I don't even walk anywhere anymore. I've gotten to the point where I'm just so sedentary, and it's like I've got to start moving. So I thought, oh, Tai Chi, I'll do Tai Chi. And for this whole winter, it's been great. Yeah, it's been 10 weeks I've been working on this, and yeah, I'm in a lot better shape than I was. I tell you, a lot better. So. And now the weather's getting better slowly, so I can get out and go for some walks and stuff. Yeah,
that's nice.
It's gonna be good. Yeah, because I want to be in. I don't think I'll be in that great of shape by summer, but I will be maybe by the end of summer.
Oh, I bet fall. You will.
I
bet you'll be in great shape by summer because you still got 3 months. You got all of April.
Yeah,
you got all
better
of May
shape
in June.
Yeah.
So really, I think.
But I think I'll be in way better shape next summer. I'm kind of really prepping for next summer, because this summer will be just a trial run to see how far I can get on those trails. But I want to, over the winter then, so another whole year from now, I think I'll be in a lot better shape. So if we're all still here, God willing.
We will be.
Then I want to be in a lot better shape, definitely. Yeah, because, I had just kind of let myself go, After I broke my shoulder, I wasn't moving, just like we were talking about in the first part 1, if y'all want to go back and listen to that, Donna was talking about her when you had that surgery and your shoulder froze because it was stuck in that position for so long. That's kind of where I was at for 2 years with my broken shoulder. So I didn't have surgery, but it was still really seized up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I just didn't do much because I was just sitting around, depressed. Broken shoulder. Can't really do much. Couldn't work.
It's hard though, because I know myself. It wasn't fun. For 3 years, I was laid up, and my arm, my hand was literally like right on my chest because I couldn't move my shoulder. When they finally went in and did my surgery, they had to do 3 surgeries in one, and they're like, my bicep or something to that effect was hanging on like by a thread. And I'm like, I walked around like that for 3 years, and I kept saying how bad it was. And they kept saying, oh, it's a pulled muscle. It's this, it's that. And the insurance company would not allow me to have an MRI. So I had to wait. And finally it got to the point, like physical therapy, nothing was working. And then the surgeon, he's like, we're going to do this. And then it come back, and then they're like, oh, we'll get the surgery immediately since you need it. And it's like, I needed the surgery 3 years ago, bud. Like.
Yeah, that really sucks.
But it was hard.
That's
like, it was really hard because I couldn't really do a lot of things. And you know how, like, when you walk, like you move your arms when you walk. It was so weird because I would get so out of breath from walking because I could only move one arm, and like I'd be walking, I'd be like asking for air because it's like I can't move my other arm to get in rhythm. I'm sorry, my voice sounds funny. I got an awful sore throat tonight.
Yeah, it's bad. I know. I'm surprised. I'm still surprised you're doing the shows because I knew we had talked about it that you were catching a cold or something. Hopefully not.
I didn't want to miss
don't get too sick.
I didn't want to miss tonight.
I know, because I was like, you got to look after yourself. Well, I know how it is,
Working with kids, you get sick all the time. Like every day there's a kid coming in sick. And I knew that the colds are going around, and I'm huge on hand sanitizer. Like I have a bottle on my desk. I go through a bottle a week because I'm constantly, listen, as much as I love these kids, I see where they put their hands and what they do with their hands. So it's like I'm constantly using hand sanitizer. But But I said I think I'll tell you, just like I said to you earlier today. One day over the weekend, it was 75 degrees here, and then it snowed the next day. Then the next day it got real nice again. And then today it turned around and we had a frost this morning and it rained this afternoon. So Pennsylvania weather's like insane. So no wonder I'm getting a cold.
We had all
I always say
that's
it's
like Calgary, the same thing. You got to be prepared for all the seasons every day. Yeah, it's I think because we're so far north, that's why.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you're in the mountains, and we're right by the mountains. And when you're by mountains, that tends to happen. Yeah. So I'm not surprised, but still, that does a number on you, definitely.
It does. Yeah. You know what's so funny?
Your body just doesn't. It's like.
You know what's so funny? We live on a mountain. And my mom lives further up on the mountain than we do. Like I'm at my house and I can actually look over to the next mountain and I can see my mom's house. It'll be snowing up where my mom lives, crazy. And it's not snowing down here. And then I'll call her and I'll say, is it snowing up there? And she'll be like, oh my God, we got like so many inches of snow. But you can literally see like from where we are to the mountain where she lives. Yep, it's cool.
That's really awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Wait till you come. I'll show you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I know. I wanted to come this year, but I can't see it financially. I just can't see it.
It's okay.
I've already done my budget, and it's just not going to happen. Next year, I really am going to shoot for next year. Yes.
You're coming whether you want to or not.
We're not really talking about too much right now, but we will be eventually. But we've got all kinds of things in the works here that we're finishing up. So we have all kinds of things we want to get together for book signings and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. So, but we're not letting the cat out of the bag just yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
No, it's too early. No, but we got some cool stuff coming. So stay tuned, everybody.
I'm excited.
I am too. I'm very excited.
That's gonna be
so
cool.
I want to be in better shape because I thought, man, I can't even walk 3 blocks without practically falling over. And I'm like, that sucks. I used to be able to walk like 15 kilometers, no problem. You know what I mean? Because I measured it out where I used to walk in the city, and I used to be able to walk there and back, and that's 15 kilometers. And I used to be able to do that, like even with my bad ankle and my bad hips and everything, I could still do it. And now I can't get 3 blocks.
That's a shame.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I just did it myself. I let myself I just sat there for 2020 because I had that skin cancer I couldn't get anything done with because they weren't taking anybody that wasn't, like literally dying on the spot. So they were like, all surgery, everything's off for 2020. So I just sat there kind of sickly, miserable. And so 2020 didn't go well. And then 2021, I finally had the skin cancer removal, started feeling a little bit better. And then I broke my shoulder in 2020, December 2020, 2022.
2022. I
so
thought
2023 and 2024, I was with this stupid broken shoulder. Yeah. And which it wasn't just broken, it was like shattered, like all up and down. It was just a mess. And so I got fired from my job. So I was sort of sitting around broke, unhappy, and I was still happy. But the thing is I didn't have any money to do anything, and I was in pain. And so I was like, I'm going to sit here. I'm just not doing anything. Yeah. So I did. I couldn't practice my guitar. I couldn't do any of that. So that got put off. But I did a lot of Bible studies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's not like it was a total waste of time or anything. But
you love that. You're really into your Bible studies. You love your Bible studies.
I love the Bible. Yeah, I do. That's my favorite thing to do. Like, it's way over my Tai Chi or guitar or anything like that. My Bible studies come first. Yeah, absolutely.
They do. You love it.
It's the first thing I do in the morning. Yeah, I just, I need them.
Yeah.
I need them. It's my food.
We all do.
And I've been really blessed to have the time to do it, That's the thing. And of course, not everybody's going to be into doing so many Bible studies, you know what I mean? But so I never try to lord that over somebody and say, oh, I'm so great because I do all these Bible studies. It's just it's a passion of mine. It's a passion of mine. I just love it. Yeah.
I'm proud of you because you got your degree and you're still working on things. And I love your devotionals. Like, I put them on before I go to bed at nighttime, and I'll listen to them play through. And I like them because
really special.
you know the Bible so well, and then you'll explain things, and I don't care how many times you read the Bible. Every time you read it, you learn something new, and I do believe that you're always learning something new, because everybody interprets things differently, though, because you might interpret it one way and I might interpret it another way, and I think a lot of people they do, and sometimes and you can look at it the way somebody else looks at it, and you can actually see their point of view. You can view it differently.
Oh yeah.
Because
for sure.
I mean, I think that's really cool, because I know a couple different times I've had certain people in my life say, "You're going to hell, you have tattoos." And then I remember I said to you one time, I'm like, "Holy man, I have 9 tattoos. This person keeps saying I'm going to go to hell."
I'm in trouble.
I'm in big trouble.
Someone's going to be mad at me. The man upstairs.
And then you said you're like, no, you have to know the history of it. So then you had said it, but then I went back and researched it, and it's like, no, that's not exactly what it means. There's like a background to it, and I think a lot of people, they think something, or they're taught it. A lot of times you're taught things as a kid and you just believe what you're taught, and it's not
that's
totally right,
Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, that's just, it's sad, but it's true. Children are taught all kinds of stuff that's not quite accurate in the Bible. Sometimes parents use that they use it for threats. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, if you do this, you're going to go to hell. But it's a way to keep the kids in line, to hopefully help them to remember not to do those things. You know what I mean? And then you grow up thinking that, that's got to be true, right? When it's actually not. No. Yeah, no. I just love to study God's word. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I learn all the time. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I read a portion of scripture, I'll see something. I'll learn something I didn't know. I'll see something I never saw.
You constantly learn.
Yeah. It's a lifelong learning process. And I mean, that's the thing. You could study your whole life and nobody knows it all.
No,
there's nobody on this planet that knows it all. There's a bunch that think they do, but no, it's not possible.
No, you do. You're constantly learning, and I know different times you and we've discussed different things, and like, I always walk away with something I didn't know, or you'll better explain it to me. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I really get that.
Yeah.
So
that's nice. Sort of same with you, Donna, because I think that as much as I study the word, you walk it out. And that's what I see, because I know the Bible quite well.
You're so sweet.
Well, it's true though. And I wouldn't lie about that. Like, I see you walking it out, and I'm like, you're a great example for me. I learned so much in the Bible, of what God wants. We're both Christians, for anybody who doesn't quite get it. And we both don't mind talking about God, So hopefully we're not offending you. If so, just turn us off and come back a little bit later. But yeah, it's, it's like, I'll read something, right? And it makes total sense to me. Oh, this is what God wants me to do. And I'll think, and I'll really meditate on it. And I'll be like, yes, this is what I need to do. This is what God wants me to do. Walk in love, forgive, all of these things that really we are called to do as Christians, as believers in Jesus Christ. And I see you walk it out, and you're not always spouting the scriptures. I don't always spout scriptures either, but everybody knows I do Bible studies. So it's just quite in everybody's face that I do these things. But you're just quietly behind the scenes walking it out as Jesus said. And I really look up to you for that. And I try to learn from you, because
thank you. That is so sweet.
I'm serious though.
I've never had anybody say that to me.
Well, it's just because I know what is required of us in the Bible. I think a lot of people, if they don't, if you don't study it out, you just kind of don't know. That's fine. It's not, everybody's in their different place, in a different journey. But I've done a lot of Bible study, so I know what we're supposed to be doing. I'm not always doing it, but I see you doing it, and I'm like, and you're not throwing it in anybody's face. You're just walking it out, and I'm like, that's such a blessing to me, because it really shows me how to put it into action.
Aww, so you're a great example. So sweet. I've never had anybody say that before.
It's true though. It's absolutely true. I see it. There's all kinds of stuff that I'll see you do, and that I know you've done, or I see you do for other people, or you'll just be so forgiving, or you'll be so look the other way, or whatever it is. And you're not sitting there going, oh, the Bible says we have to do this. You're just doing it. You're just being faithful. You're faithfully walking the word, is what how I call it.
That's so sweet.
That's
Thank
the truth
you.
Of it.
Thank
That's
you.
The truth of it. So I learn a lot from you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so
just
sweet.
By example.
I do try to be forgiving of others, even though I get frustrated, like in the first half of the show.
Part one, if you want to go back and check that.
If you want to know what I really
part
think.
Two now.
But
part two, I mellowed out a little bit this evening.
I do try to forgive. Even people that hurt me, I try to forgive because I think I screw up every day and I ask God to forgive me and he forgives me. So if God can forgive, I can forgive. But I will say that if somebody gets me one time, they won't get me a second time because I don't trust like that. I try to be a good person and I try to help others because I've had people be rude to me before. I've had people be ignorant to me. I've had people lie about me, and it hurts. And I don't ever want to do that to anybody else. So I do try to be a good person. I know one time Lee said to me, she's like, "You don't have to try to be a good person. You are a good person." And I'm like, "No, Lee, I really try hard to be a good person." And she's like, "You don't try, you are." And I'm like, "No, really." I said, "I try." And she's like, "You don't have to try." She goes, "You do anything for anyone." And I'm like, "I would." And she's like, "People aren't always kind, but you try to be." And she goes, "I like that about you." And you guys are sweet. I think that's so sweet. Thank you.
Well, it's just obvious. I mean, because Lee and myself have been hanging around Donna for a long time in the background behind the scenes. We know how she is. And yeah, you do. You don't just try. You really are a good person. And it's like it just comes second. It's not just something you think about like, oh, maybe I should do this thing for somebody or something. It's second nature. It's like I almost don't want to call it second nature. It's almost first nature. It's just part of your makeup. And for other people, like for people like me, it's not so much, like I'm not quite, I'm trying. That's what I'm saying. I do try to learn from you because that's what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I know what the word says, but God is walking it out. And I'm like, that's great. And Lee too. I mean, Lee does a lot of great things for people as well. So
you do too, though. You do so much for you. You're always there for me. You're always there for Lee. You're there for people within your building. So you do too.
Yeah, I think, but it's not so much. It's not so much just first or second nature. It's not just. I really have to think about it, Whereas for you guys, it's just natural, right? So I like that.
I think because I've been treated bad by people before that I really cared about and trusted. I think I've had mean things said about me, and I know that like sometimes you can work so hard for something and you can't make it happen. So when somebody comes to me and says, "I'd like to do this," I'm like, "Oh, well, let's make that happen," and I try my best to make it happen for everybody, whether it's a memorial book for their loved one or it's a charity event or something like that. I do because I think, or even just a random act of kindness, I think, I don't know. I think we all have to learn to be kind, and I think we have to be considerate of other people. I don't know. I act. I don't think about it. I act. I don't know. It's just who I am.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's who you are. It's not so much that you try. It's who you are. Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate that. Like, it's great.
Even forgiveness, though. I've had people that's really, like, hurt my feelings, and I'm like, I forgive you. And I do forgive, but I don't forget because I always think you'll never do that to me again. But people that have really, like, done me wrong, like, I have no hate for them. I have no hate for anyone.
Yeah. And that's the best way to be. Seriously. I used to think that I hated certain people, people who had really hurt me. I mean, like people that seriously did me some serious wrong. And for when I was younger, I thought for sure that I hated them, but I didn't, I just hated what had happened.
Yeah. Well, my famous saying, how I always say, I'm going to throat punch somebody. I say it at the moment because it's like, you're such an idiot. But I don't know. Like, I don't hold grudges.
You're so nonviolent,
I know. Lee always says,
for that to come out of your mouth is funny. It's just like, okay.
Lee always says, "You're the least violent person I know."
Don't punch somebody. I mean, that's not good. but it, it's just a saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't go around
like Lee with it. Yeah, Lee doesn't go around beating up on too many people, as far as I know. Like, Lee was like a tough chick, back in the old days, right? So she's just funny. Like she likes to say stuff like, I'm gonna get my shit kicker, sissies. I'm gonna go on up there, and it's just something to say. It's the same with I'm gonna throat punch you.
Yeah, it's just a saying.
Yeah, everybody's got something. Yeah, everybody's got some little saying. But we're all nonviolent people. So it's just, we're just humans, everybody's, we all do and say stupid things at some
We joke
some
around
point.
just like everybody else. I think sometimes,
yeah, we're just joking around.
I think sometimes when you say stuff, people look at you and they're like, you're not supposed to be violent. And it's like, I'm not violent. I just, like, I say stuff too. I get mad too. I get hurt feelings too. I get upset and angry. And I think a lot of people look at us and they're like, well, you're out there fighting for kids, so like you can't get mad or you can't say anything. And it's like, we're human just like everybody else. I get mad.
That's right.
I swear. I mean, there's times like I'll swear and then I'll be like, oh God, please forgive me. I didn't mean that.
Oh.
Or I'll say something.
I do. I swear, like, something will make me mad and I'll start cussing and I'm like, sorry, Lord.
Or I'll say something like, I really don't mean it. But at that moment, like I get mad and I'll say something and then I'm like, I really didn't mean it. Dear God, forgive me, and I always do. Lori, every morning I get on my hands and knees and I pray and I ask God to wash me clean because I know I'm going to screw up at some point in the day. Yeah. I know I am.
Yeah,
everybody does. Everybody
we all do. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, because we're not walking perfectly here in the earth. Definitely not.
No.
Yeah, we're trying the best we can to do the best we can. But nobody's going to get it 100%.
Yeah, I try to be the best person I can. And that's all we can do. I wake up every day and I strive to be better than I was yesterday. And I don't mean to be a better person than other people. I mean, I try to be a better person. I try to, be kind or say thoughtful things and like I said, I screw up. I get angry. I get mad. You'll hear the occasional, I'm going to throat punch somebody, but it is what it is. Every time I say that, my mom laughs. My mom she chuckles.
I think it's funny because you're the first person I've ever heard say that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say that. I remember the first time you said it, I was just like, it kind of shocked me because I'm like, I've never heard that before. Oh man, you come up with some good ones.
Well, that's like I'll say
to
somebody, kick rocks. And everybody's like, why'd you say kick rocks? And I'm like, because it means get the heck going.
Get lost. That's funny. Yeah.
I always say it must be a Pennsylvania thing. That's all I can say.
Kick rocks. I think it's cute. Get lost. That's funny. That's cute. Yeah, you Pennsylvanians are just a little bit different. No, I'm not kidding. I'm just joking. I have heard that Pennsildanians are some of the nicest people in the world. Cecil, when he was younger, before I met him, he was on a train doing something for the East Coast Rail, and he got a contract to go down into the States. And so it was between Canada and the States, the rail. Something to do with probably the ties or something, because that's usually what it had something to do with the tie gang, changing the railroad ties out and stuff. And he got this contract. This is before I met him, but he told me this story. He said he went down all the way into Pennsylvania. This part of this was to go all the way through, I think, part of Pennsylvania. And he said, they were the nicest people that he's ever met. He's like, they're down to earth. They just invite you in, and they cook for you, and they all want to sit around and have a beer and talk. And he said, it is like, my kind of people. I was like, that's cool. He's like, they're kind of like mountain people, and he's like, kind of like the mountain people, but He's like the nicest people on the earth. I think some of them anyway.
I think Cecil.
So that was a nice compliment for you guys.
Yeah, I think Cecil was here because the one time him and I was talking on the phone, and he had said about coming through here, and I always thought he probably really came through here because back then the railroad was huge at that time.
Yeah,
because he described the area. I mean, he described this area to a T. So I always swore he come through here because he did. You know, the way
he said he was in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
he very well might have come right through your area.
He described things here that, I mean, unless you're here, you would not know. And I thought that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that says a lot about Pennsylvania people. That's right. So, you know, I take back my miserable little joke there.
That's okay. I know you're just joking.
I'm totally just joking. But yeah, okay. No, it's just, you know, yeah, I just want to get in better shape for next year. That's what we were kind of talking about. Because I figured this year I've got a couple of months to try to get a little bit in better shape, you know. And then fall's going to come. Summer's going to go by. Fall's going to come. I want to do a couple of hikes. But I'm probably not going to make the whole trail because it's a 14-kilometer hike. And I doubt that I'm going to be able to do 14K right now. In a few months, I doubt it highly. Probably maybe half of that or something, like 7K or something. So that'll be good enough because it's just the first getting back into shape. And then by next year, if I keep going, I'll be in really good shape. That I'm looking forward to because
you can do that 10-mile hike with us.
Seriously, it'll be like freedom. Yeah, absolutely.
You can do that 10-mile hike with us next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Right.
That's the thing. So I'm just excited. Like it's better to wait till next year because I should be in better shape and we'll be able to literally go do stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Sitting on the porch going, can't go, Donna. I'm too tired. You have to beat me out on this one. You know, I'm like, oh, life is short, man. So for anybody who's listening, this is women like me, and we do talk a lot about women's issues and what it's like to be just women like my age. You know, I'm almost 60, and you know, it's either now or never, do or die. This is the time. I told my doctors this earlier this year. Because, you know, they're like, well, you're not in too bad a shape, you know, for your age, being like a lifelong smoker and all that. Like, you know, you're not doing too bad. Got a few issues, but, you know, nothing too major. But I'm like, I know, but if I don't do something, like the time is now because I'm behind the 8 ball. And if I let this go, I can see myself snowballing into further worse shape every year that goes by. I don't have that many years left. So I told those doctors, I'm behind the 8 ball and I'm going to hustle to try to get some momentum going so I can get in better shape like this year and then work towards getting in better shape. And they were like, well, that's smart. You're doing yourself a huge favor because I said, well, I want to keep walking, you know, because I've got all these issues with my hips and my ankle and my knee. One of my knees is bad now too. So, you know, I don't want to give up yet, you know?
Yeah, I don't
Too young to give up.
Yeah.
Too young. Too young to give up. I mean, 60's not that old.
Well, I always say, like, I got less years ahead of me than I have behind me. But, I mean, not being rude, I could live another 30 years, and so could you. So, you know, you don't know. But then again, no day's promised. So you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So, you know, live life to the fullest. Right. I say that all the time. Like, live it to the fullest because you never know. You know, my grandmother used to say, why put off tomorrow what you can do today? And it kind of, it always makes me think, like, why, you know, why wait? Do it now because you don't, tomorrow's not promised to you and you might not be here to be able to do it.
That's it. You know, or something could happen and then you won't be able to do it. You know what I mean? Have some horrible thing happen to your body, which can happen, right? The body is what it is, and it's God appoints a time when everyone goes to meet him. And so at some point we're all going to have to go, and we don't know what day that is.
No.
But there's no sense in giving up. You know? And that's where I was. I mean, like 2 years ago, just sitting around thinking, is this it? You know, my mobility's getting worse, falling and breaking my shoulder. I'm like, you know, this sucks.
God's got so much planned for you. God's got so much more planned for you that it's not even funny. We have so much to do. We have so much to do.
We have things. We do. We have a lot of things on the go to finish up right now. It's going to take a while to finish some of this stuff that we're working on.
And we have so much time to hang out and have fun and enjoy each other's company, and spend it with good friends.
Right. That's exactly right. So yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of like people say, "Oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week." Like you're saying, like your grandmother was saying, "Don't put off today what you know, do it today while it's today. Don't wait till tomorrow." That's the thing, because tomorrow's not promised. And a lot of people think, well, I could do it. I could do it next month. I could do it next year. And that starts to really turn into a problem. That's right. I thought about that. I thought, I've only got this year so far that I know. I've only got today. So I thought, I got to start moving. I got to start getting all my joints moving and my muscles going. And so I'm doing physio and everything right now. So
yeah, as the years pass by, it's more and more time you're wasting. And I just think go out and live your life. Life's not perfect, and you may never get exactly what you want or be where you want to be, but enjoy it to the fullest. I say to Roger all the time, you only live one time. Go out and do everything that you want to do now, because, you can't take it with you. My mother-in-law, Vivian, God rest her soul, she's been gone for 11 years. She used to always say when my kids were younger, work. Get that overtime, Roger, get that overtime. And I said to him one day, where's the overtime get you? Yeah, you make more money, but you spend it on something that you don't want, you don't need, or whatever. And as the years pass, you don't have any more then as you do now. So, why kill yourself working? Don't miss your kid's baseball game. Don't miss your kid's basketball game. Go to lunch with your friends. Right. Things like that. Don't, because you only live one time. I mean, do you remember Steve Miller? Do you remember me telling you about Steve Miller, the photographer? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Steve and I went to high school together. He was a year behind me in school. Right out of high school, he went in the military, and I hadn't seen Steve in I'm going to say 20 years. Other than on social media, I hadn't really had seen him. And we kept in touch over social media. Well, he joined the Chapman Word Weavers and the local writing group that we did. And he started coming. Well, we were meeting 2 and 3 times a week, working on projects, and he was working on this incredible project. I mean, it was just amazing. His photography is out of this world. And we worked on it. We planned, we talked, we laughed, we joked. And our writing group had a surprise birthday party for us because our birthdays were a month apart. So we had this surprise birthday party, and then it was the following week we went to Thanksgiving dinner. We always had Thanksgiving dinner together early as a group, just like a group of friends.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, Christmas rolled around and the New Year come in, and I had just come home from Michigan, and I was going to get my roots done because my roots were grown out. And I see him in a store, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "The next time you see me, I'm going to be all blonde again." And we laughed and we joked. He went away for work, and he was supposed to come home that weekend, and he died 50 years old. And
yeah,
it's we never got to laugh. We never got to joke. And I hold that birthday party so dear. And I hold that last Thanksgiving so dear because he meant so much to me. He was such a good person. He would do anything for anyone. And I always think we had so many plans for when he come back. You know what I mean? We had all these plans we were going to do that week when he come back. he never come back. We never got to do him. And, I miss that. I miss him a lot. My son said to me one day, he's like, Mom, I'm really sorry about your friend, because I know you cared about him. And I did. I mean, he was so sweet and so kind. And he was the one that taught me photography, like the different angles and shots, And but he always had like a kind word. But we had so much planned for that following week when he come back. He went away to work and he passed away. And I feel so bad, because I always think
so sad.
That last time I seen him, just like 3 days before, I wish I would have gave him like a bigger hug. You know what I mean? Like, and just been like, but you never know someone's last day. And it was just
that's the thing.
sad.
You don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it is sad. And that's the thing. None of us know how long we have. Like, I was planning, for anybody that doesn't know who's listening, I was planning on hopefully going to be able to go this fall, to go spend time with Donna and her family. And after doing my budget and stuff, and I mean, triple doing my budget and seriously thinking about it, I'm like, I can't do that. It's just too tight. It's just financially too tight for me. And I'm like, well,
that's totally understandable.
That's okay. Hopefully I can go next year. I'm just giving it up to God is what I'm doing, because none of us know how long we're going to be here. And I really wanted to go this year because it was really important to me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ooh, but the finances aren't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm already kind of blown it for this year already. And it's only April. It's only April 2nd. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to be so cool with my money. So I'm like, yeah, it's going to have to be next year, unfortunately, because this was going to be such a cool thing for us. But, it's all in God's timing. I do believe that. And we're not giving anything away, because we're not going to say nothing about something that's coming up here shortly. But, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I've got 2 books coming out, which Donna's co-authoring with me anyway, or helping me to do these books. And one of them's co-author, and the other one, she's creative publishing, also like a creative input. So, and the designer of this book, basically the cover. So, but I'm not saying too much about it. Yeah, I am too. I'm very excited. So I got 2 books. We've got 2 books coming out that I'm working on, my projects that we're working on together. And Don's got other stuff going, which we're not saying nothing about right now. But it's probably better to do this for me to go next year, because at that point, those books will be done, and we'll be able to do trailers right there in person and go do some book signing. I think it'll be a little better, because I don't think I can finish those books by fall. I don't think so. I just don't think so.
I already have everything planned out a year in advance. So you're already locked in for when you come next year for book signings and everything.
Yeah.
I already have it taken care of.
I just feel really bad about it. Yeah, I feel bad about it, because I wanted to go this year. I'm sad about it.
We'll just do it next year. It's not real.
Yeah, it is. It's just unfortunate. But, like we say, don't put off, tomorrow what you can do today. But in a situation like that, what I have to do, what we're going to do is just give it up to the Lord, and just pray that He makes a way. Because I do have faith and I trust Him.
Yeah. But you're always going to have like unexpected emergencies. We all do, like just when you think, things are so great. And then all of a sudden something happens and it's like, damn, I got to get a new car, or, damn this,
something. It's always something. Exactly.
Yeah. I have a friend and she loves to bake. And she texted me the other day and she's like, well, I'm 2 burners down, so I'm doing it on the other 2 burners. And like, she cooked the whole meal on 2 burners. And I said, just let me help you get a stove, like a new stove. And she's like, no, I'm going to make do with what I have. And when I get it, I'll get a new stove. And it's like, okay. But you're always going to have unexpected things that happen. I guess it's just how you handle it. You plan it, and it's a pretty smart cookie girl. I won't say her name because I don't want her to know I'm saying nice things about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who
Yeah,
she
no,
is.
you have to be careful. You know, if I went this year, I would be so incredibly broke when I got back that I wouldn't be able to pay my bills.
I don't want
And
that.
so that's why I'm like, I shouldn't go, because I'll
No.
put myself into a huge bind. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
I don't want you to do that.
that's bad. I know. And that's a shame, because I was so wanting to go. That's why I'm like a little down. But you know, I do believe in God's timing. And I'm like,
Me
oh,
too.
okay, maybe this is a message from God. And, you know, maybe we're supposed to wait till next year. You know what I mean? Even though I wanted to go this year, I'm really excited about it. So it could be a message from the Lord. You know what I mean? So hard to say, but it could be.
He knows.
So all in God's timing. Yeah.
He knows.
I do trust God.
God knows. Lori, I'll tell you what, I've had people say to me, you know, like, why do you put so much trust and faith in God? And I'll tell you what, I've been in situations where my kids have been sick, my grandchildren's been sick. I had my one little nephew, he was very sick when he was born. And I'll tell you what, I just put faith in God, and he always sees us through. And, you know, I stand in faith. I remember a long time ago, you and I was talking one time, and I said I was worried about something. And you told me, you're like, just stand in faith, just stand in faith. And I just always stand in faith, because I believe in God. And a lot of times, like, I don't just expect him to fix my problems or to fix the situation, but I just have the faith that everything's going to be okay and it's going to work out. I've had people say to me, you believe in this person you can't see. Well, what are you going to do if you prayed all this time and there's no God? And I said, well, you could be right. But what happens if you're not praying? You're not praying and there isn't God. Then what?
That's right.
I wasted my time. That's exactly it. You just wasted your life. You know, so.
Yeah, that's right. What if it's true? That's the big question, isn't it? What if it's absolutely true? Then
and that's what I told him.
You know, no harm done, right?
Well, that's what he said. He goes,
what's the harm in praying?
He said, you're wasting all your time praying, because how do you know that there's a God? You can't see him. And I said, well, I don't see it really as wasting my time praying. I said, but let me ask you this. What if there is a God and you aren't praying? What's that say about you? Where are you going to spend eternity? And then
that's exactly it.
He didn't have an answer for me, but it was like a couple weeks later, like, you just might be right. I'm like, I know I'm right.
That's it.
I believe. I grew up learning about God as a child, and then as an adult, I believe. And I think the older I get, I'll say me personally, the stronger my faith becomes. Because like when I was younger, I prayed, but it wasn't as in depth as it is now. And now I'm really into my faith, like really into my faith. I mean, I've always believed in God and stuff, but I think the older you get, the more serious you take it.
Most people, yeah. I think there are some young people who are definitely called at a young age, and they just, you know, God calls them at that age, and they are right on fire for God. But for the most part, it does a lot of times comes later in life, and you may even have faith as a young person, but like you said, the real fruit of it comes later when you know you're older, and that's the beauty of it, really. Yeah, I think it's because you start to really see how God moves in other people's lives and in your own life, and I think that's the big deal. Some people would say, well, some people listening, if you're not Christians, might be like, well, how do you know that's God moving? Because God is the great mover, and He's really, you know, He's a miracle working God. So you see enough things in your life that are really miraculous. You have to give it up to the Almighty, the one true living God who created all of this. Otherwise, how are you going to make sense of it, right? Yeah. I mean, there's been doctors that were really stunned, like doctors that were really stunned about Cecil's situation. Yeah. There were several doctors that were, you know, they weren't religious. They were atheists and stuff. And I would tell them, I'd be like, one of them told me, this one doctor, she was like, you know, you better just call the morgue and get all that set up. I'm sorry, honey, but he's not leaving the hospital. You know, he's just not. He's in a coma. He's not leaving. I said, you know, I said, I had my Bible with me. I used to take my Bible everywhere. This one away. I'm like, he goes everywhere with me. I'm like, you know, I said, my God's going to decide whether he comes home with me or not.
Yeah.
My God's going to decide whether he comes out of this hospital or not. It's not up to me. I'm not calling the morgue. He's not dead yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's my God who's going to make that decision, whether he's going to call him home or whether he's going to come home with me. And this is how it went several times when Cecil would end up in the hospital ready to
remember.
Where they said he was ready to go. And I would be like, it's up to God. And I would just have faith. I'd just stand in faith. I'd be walking around that hospital. I was usually outside because I'd be wanting to smoke a cigarette because my nerves were a little bit shot. And I'd be claiming the promises of God as I'd be walking around, and I'd be out there just basically having a conversation with God, you know, and just talking to God, you know, day in, day out. Some I'd go home, period, you know, to go home, I'd go home. And then I'd go back to the hospital and redo the whole thing until he came home with me. And I was like, and those doctors would be just like shocked. Like he'd come out of coma. It's like, they were just like, this is a miracle.
Yes.
Yeah. They were like, you know, I'm not even a Christian and I don't worship your God, but that's a miracle if there was ever a miracle. And I was like, you're exactly right. My God is a God of miracles, man.
That's right.
I've seen too much. I've seen too much. I don't blame people for not believing that they have to make their own decisions. You know what I mean? I would never run anybody down. You have to make your own decision, right?
Yeah.
But I made a decision for Jesus Christ, May 22nd, 2007. Yeah. And, you know, since then, it's been all uphill. It's been all uphill.
I met you right after that. I met you right after that.
You know, it was right after that. Things changed. I mean, I was going to kill myself. I was absolutely going to kill myself. I was suicidal and everything. And, you know, I couldn't take it anymore. I just was, and my Cecil was living in a different place at that time because he had moved out. He wanted his own independence. Because he was terminally ill for so long, he really wanted a few years, I think, to try to just be his own self again. Mr. Bachelor man, looking after himself, you know. But he was in a senior's place that had a nurse on site, so he wasn't really on his own. But I let him have his freedom. I said, you know what? If that's what you need, that's fine. I totally get that. But we still were together as, you know, hanging out really as a couple, but he was living separately from me, and I was really depressed, and I lost my job. All sorts of things happened, and that on top of all the stuff with the child abuse stuff, that's where all that started. It was my heart was so heavy, and the child abuse stuff just was bombarding me, all coming back, and just a horrible depression I think I was in, really. And I just was like, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, Cecil's not going to understand. He's going to think, wasn't I enough? You know, I tried to be a good person, you know, in your life. I loved you, you know. So I didn't think Cecil would be able to take that at all. You know, I was thinking this is a really selfish thing to do because it would probably really hurt him, you know. But I thought, I just can't do it anymore. And I was really contemplating suicide. And the Lord got a hold of me shortly after that. But the Lord, I believe, I heard this little voice saying, live. And it wasn't some audible voice. It was this little thing inside of me that I felt I could hear God's voice. This little tiny voice saying, live, live. That's all that little voice was saying was live. Could have been my voice. I don't know. I might have been telling myself, live.
No.
All I know is I was like, okay. I think it was God. I really do.
God.
And I give it up to God. Absolutely. Because I was 100%. Like, God wants me to live, you know? And I'm like, yeah, the devil wants me to kill myself. Absolutely. The devil wants to destroy me. If anybody doesn't believe there's evil, just take a look around. And so I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, God wants me to live. He is He is life. He's the very life itself. He created life, so he is life. Okay, I need to live, So that's the last time I ever contemplated suicide. And about a month later, I met the Lord. So I'm so thankful, so grateful.
God's good.
Let me
so good.
Oh, he is. He is. And I'm telling you, I mean, I was in a pit of despair, and he pulled me right on up out of there, just like that song. He pulled me right up out of that pit,
Yeah.
And
he always has a
seriously,
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
everybody always says to me, why do you believe so wholeheartedly? And I always say, I know the differences he's made in my life. I know the differences he's made in the lives of people that I love. And well, how do you know it's going to come out okay? And I said, because he saw the beginning from the end. So I know that, everything's going to work out just fine. And
that's right.
I don't know. I believe,
Praise God.
My oldest son, he always says, Graham, meet the man, meet the myth, meet the legend, Jesus Christ. And he has this Bible that he has in, and it makes me so happy, because that was so important for me that my grandchildren know, and then I always say to all my grandchildren, make sure, you say your prayers, and we do. And I always say to them,
awesome.
Before you play a sport, before you do anything, say a prayer. And you don't just pray for yourself, you pray for everybody.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody.
Praise God. I know, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
So
it's just so good, Yeah, that's the thing. I've seen too much in this world to know,
that's me.
To be able to say that I absolutely do know that there is a God. Absolutely.
When they say somebody does not have a chance to survive, and you pray wholeheartedly and you believe, and then to see that person overcome, it's just like, wow, I know my Graham, I love my Graham so much. She was such a big influence in my life. And there were so many different times that she was ill, and we had prayed and prayed and prayed, and he just, God blessed us. And I don't know. I believe. And that's why when people say, well, how do you know? I just know. I can't prove it. I can't show you. I got the faith in my heart. I believe it. I know it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he just brought such love into my heart, and a peace that a peace that is so far beyond understanding. I mean, it's like when Cecil was passing away, and it was just me and him, and I had to give him his morphine shots. And I mean, I was of course sad for my husband was going to be leaving me for heaven. That's what I say, because he left me for heaven. It's like, oh well, he went to a better place. So he's not suffering anymore. Thank God, right? He was really, really suffering badly at that point. He was dying, like literally, completely dying at that point. And so he wanted to just die, just me and him. He didn't want any nurses around or anything. He says, no, just me and you. And the I think it's paleo or whatever, the paleo people were like, well, you have to make sure that you're okay to do this, because you don't have to, because they were telling Cecil she may not want to, but I said, no, I want to do whatever he wants to do. I'm totally cool with it. You just need to show me how to do it, how to look at, how to help him finish off here, to give him his shots and everything. So they did train me. I had a whole day training at the hospital, and then they brought him home, which was great, because I knew he was going to be happy there. He wasn't happy in the hospital. He didn't want to die in the hospital. He kept saying, yeah, he said, don't let me die here in the hospital. I said, no, honey. I mean, they're going to get you home. And so it was just me and him, and it was such a peace. I was sobbing a bit, I'm not going to lie. I was definitely sobbing a bit. And I think that's a natural emotion when you're best. I mean, he really was my best friend. I mean, he was my love of my life, As far as girlfriends, I mean, I have you and I have Lee. You guys are my besties, but your husband is your husband, right?
Yeah.
And he was a good man, and I was, of course, going to miss him. So I was kind of obviously grieving, while he was dying. and that's normal. I wasn't sitting around laughing, having a good time. So it was sad, but in the meantime, I had this total peace about me because I knew that he was going to heaven. I absolutely knew it because he believed in Jesus. He believed in God, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. He was a Christian before me. He was a Christian from a young person, so he knew, the Bible. And so I was happy for him. He's going to heaven. There was a total peace that just came over me, even though I was sad,
It
but
does.
God can, when you have a God that can get you through that, and you can sit there with this total peace in your heart. That's God.
Mm-hmm.
That's God.
Yes,
because the world doesn't have peace. There's
no.
people without God. Yeah, there's people dying without God, and they're in the hospitals passing away, and they don't have God, and they're just freaking out because they don't know where they're going. So, people would say, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like, well, if it brings you peace, then I would say it's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not sitting here running down other people's religions or anything like that.
No.
I'm a Christian, and I believe what I believe.
Yep.
So, but
I say
it's like whatever brings peace to your heart, peace to your mind, peace to your life, it has to be a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So that's what God's done for me. Brought peace, complete peace into my life. Even facing all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't seem to matter what it is. And because I have the peace of God, I you just kind of overcome it. It's like, oh, well, okay. Yeah, It's all good.
It's gonna happen.
So that's what God's done for me.
You know what I mean? Like, bad things are gonna happen regardless. Right. So it depends on how you react. And I don't know. I would rather pray about it, and that it's just my personal choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd rather just pray, or I always say I have a conversation with God, because when I'm driving in my car, a lot of people probably think like I'm singing to the music, and I'm not. Like, I'm having this conversation with God. I always,
that's awesome.
I always do.
That's cool. Yeah, that's the way to be, man. I do. I talk to God all the time.
Me too.
I talk to him all the time, like every day, out loud around here. I'm sure people, obviously, if they could hear me, they'd be like, "Oh, she's talking to herself again." But I'm actually talking to God. Yeah,
it's funny because it's just a lot of times when I'm praying, the dog, he'll sit there, he'll look at me, and he'll be like, he'll keep turning his head, like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, that's so cute. You got such beautiful little pets. They're so sweet.
I love them dearly.
Yeah. Well, all I know is
I fell asleep the other night on the love seat, and when I woke up, the cat was sleeping on my chest, and the one dog was sleeping beside me on the love seat, and the other one was on the floor, like all
room on there.
Around me. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
That's so cute. That is so cool. Yeah. That's awesome. They love you.
Sweet. They do.
They're cute.
I love them too.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Before I went to work today, I always say to them every day, be good, and I give them a treat before I leave. And I said, you be good and don't get my shoes, because when I'm gone, the one dog, the boy, he always gets my slippers. And I come home,
and they're not always good.
I come home, and there's my one slipper in his little house. And I said, who had my slippers? And he instantly dropped his head right down. I said, no treats for you.
I'm surprised he's like, it's not me.
You can tell which one does. Like, you can tell which one does it, because if you say, did you do that? They'll drop their head right down.
That's hilarious. It's like, don't look at me. It wasn't me. That's funny.
I always laugh because it's they never get in trouble, even when they do something. But the guilty party.
No. Yeah. I've seen videos, because I've never had dogs, but I've seen videos where, like what you're saying, where the like a woman will come home from work or whatever, and the dog will have trashed the place, and then the dog will be sitting there just looking around like, la la, and then the woman will be like, "Did you make this mess?" And the dog will be like, "Oh," and his little ears will drop, and he's like, she's like, "I know you did." They're so cute. Oh, I love animals. I absolutely love animals. Yeah, pets. I mean, I love all animals, actually.
Me too.
But dogs and cats, I mean, they're the best, man.
The other night, I was watching a movie, and they're always near me.
They are.
Well, the cat, he come down from upstairs, and when he come down, the one dog ran over to him, and he started smelling the cat, and the cat literally took his little paws and went boom, boom, and like hit him on the nose, just like he was boxing. We laughed so hard.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, I'm sure your cat has had to, like, put her foot down and say, look, because that boy of yours is so huge.
Yeah.
That the cat's probably like, look, the cat's always usually the boss. Exactly.
The cat is the boss, like literally the boss.
They run the route. There was a post the other day I saw on Facebook. I think it was yesterday, and it showed this. It was just a picture of this cat sitting there, and somebody said, everybody knows that cats rule the house because, and I don't even know where this post belongs to. I can't even quote it, so you'd have to just look it up. if you're listening to this and you want to see what it is. It says everybody knows that cats rule the house because in the word homeowner, you notice that there's meow because it's HOMEOWNE. There's meow right in the middle.
Yep.
And so that's how you know cats are the boss of the house.
I never thought of that.
Isn't that cute? I had never snapped to them. No. That meow was in the middle of the homeowner. Yeah.
Me either.
No. So somebody was very smart and saw that. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, cats rule the roost, man. They do. They're always queen or king, of the whole place. Doesn't matter what's going on or how many pets are there. They rule the roost. Exactly.
Well, that's what I said. You got 125. You got a 125-pound dog, and there's this little cat like bonking him on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah, your cat's cute too, though. Your cat is so cute. Oh man, I remember that one time you had the cat on your lap and you held him up for the camera, and I was like, oh my god, that's a huge cat. And I mean, I can't believe how big that cat is. I'm like, that's a beautiful cat. My cat was so small, like this tiny little thing. Like she wouldn't let me pick her up. She was just this tiny little thing. And she had like a little nose, like I always try to point it out because my pinky nail is not exactly that big, And her nose was like half the size of my pinky nail. She was so small. It'd be like I'd pet her and I'd be like, oh, little kitty. She was cute. Not like your cat. Your cat's like you gotta like grab it and like.
It was funny because we went to the vet. The vet's like. Just like she's standing there, she's shaking her head, and I said, "Well, what's wrong?" And something's wrong with the scale, and I'm like, "No, that's about right. She's about 30 pounds." Well, then, my goodness, we had to put this cat on a diet. Well, then, they're like, only give her so much each day. So I'm like, okay. So I cut her food back. Like she started going crazy, and I'm like, there ain't no way I'm cutting this food back like that because it did, but. She's 10, and since she's a little bit older, she has lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah. That's what you were saying. She's not as big as she was. She's just so cute. Like all of your pets are the cutest. Lana, but they're all cute.
She's still a fatty, Lo. She's still big, just not as big.
I think you should do a book on your pets, a story.
Maybe I will do that.
Just a fictional story. Or have somebody illustrate it, because your pets are the cutest pets. I think they're so cute. They're beyond cute. You know what I mean? They're adorable, and they could be stuffy, like models for stuffies, or you could have a book with somebody illustrating it. I would do a book, is what I would do, a children's book, and just create some cool stuff with them. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good idea.
Adventures with, I could just see it, because I've seen pictures of your pets, because I've never seen them in person, but I've seen some really cool pictures of them, and I'm like, they're so cute. Oh my God, they're cute.
They are cute.
Like, it's just like my little bunny. My little bunny.
I like Halloween because we dress them up in costumes.
That's crazy.
It's funny because I'll say to them, I'm like, the kids are going to be coming, so let's put your costumes on. And like, they get so excited. You put their little costumes on them. They do.
That's
they
crazy.
get so excited.
Like, my cat would have never gone for that. Actually, that's not true. For Christmas, like, Cecil used to, there was this little, I think it was supposed to hang on a doorknob probably. But, our little cat was so tiny. This thing was like a cute little Christmas thing that used to, I guess for decoration, you put it around a doorknob or something. And it would fit around the cat's head and around her neck. And she would wear it like a little shawl almost. And she was so cute. It had little bells on it. And she was so cute.
She was tiny then, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was really small. Yeah, like super tiny.
My cat's head's like this
my
big.
hand would like pretty much cover her whole body. Yeah, like my hand would just like seriously just cover most of her body. Like if I put my hand on her, she was just tiny little thing. She was so cute. She was yeah, yours is just a big cat. Like,
big.
There was somebody else I was talking to not too long ago showed me another picture. They showed me a video of another big cat. And I was like, oh, I know somebody who's got a big cat like that. You guys. It's a jumbo cat. That's what I call it, a jumbo cat. It's not a small cat. My cat was small, but she was really more like a mini. Like my bunny was a mini. I always end up with these mini pets, like, except for Pumpkin. Pumpkin was a ferocious, big, fluffy cat. Not quite as big as yours, but close. Big, fluffy thing. And really, really violent. She was very vicious. And she just, she would sit there looking so pretty. Her name was Pumpkin. And she was a tortoiseshell, forget what you want to call them. She was like a tortoiseshell, one of them beautiful tortoiseshell cats. She would sit there just looking so pretty, so friendly. Aww. And people would want to pet her, and I'd be like, oh, no, don't do that. don't put your hand down there. They'd be like, oh, what? And I'd be like, she's dangerous, man. Like, she'll rip your fingers off. And, because she just looks cute, but she's not cute. She's mean. So, people would want to pet her. It is. It's sad, but Cecil brought her up to be, because Cecil, she liked Cecil. The cat didn't really like me. Because, they pick somebody in the house that they like.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I don't know, because Cecil didn't want, well, it's not that he didn't want cats. He was like, I'm not really a cat person, but I know you are, so you can have cats, no problem, And so we get this little cat, and the cat ends up liking him. And I'm like, that cat's supposed to be my cat. Like, what's going on? But they do pick who they like. That's fine. Yeah. So that cat picks Cecil, and Cecil would like roughhouse with her. And he had those big kind of, rough, like he was a big biker type guy with really bigger. Yeah. God, he had thick skin on his hands. Like, well, he was a hard worker all of his life, I'm sure. Like most of it anyway. Not so much maybe the last few years when after I met him, when he was kind of getting sicker and older, you know what I mean? But when he was younger, I think he was definitely a hard worker.
Yeah.
And
a big guy.
Yeah. And he did, he was, you could just tell, like, it's, people that work hard with their hands, like, my hands are, I used to cook for a living, so I've got steam burn scars on my hands all over.
Oh.
You can't really see them in this camera. No, you can't. But I can. I can see them here. And, it it it's just from steam burns, right? So it's very strange. The skin is crepey. It's like from steam burns. But you know, if you work with your hands, they're going to be like that. And so he would roughhouse with the cat, and she wouldn't even like if she scratched him, it wouldn't even bother his skin. It wouldn't do anything. He didn't realize what he was doing, like training the cat to be like this boxer, kind of tyrant cat. And I'm like, look, you're going to train that cat to be like a vicious cat, hon. I'm like, you're supposed to just pet him, you know, just pet him and let him, you know, train him to be nice. And, you know, because that's my idea of a cat. And because this was an indoor cat, she wasn't going outside. You know, it's different for an outdoor cat. But she was going to be an indoor cat, not going outside. And he just trained her to be vicious. And so if I went to pet her, she would like scratch me up to pieces, literally, in 2 seconds. It just didn't take very long. She'd be like, and I'd be like, I just wanted to pet you. But that's not what she wanted. She wanted to play or whatever, right? So people would go to pet her, and I'd be like, look, it's not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
She was beautiful, though. I took pictures of her.
That's funny.
She was cute, like very, very cute. Yeah, like she would look real friendly. Like she'd lay on her back with her belly exposed, so people you think it's cool to go pet her, but it's totally not. She's gonna rip your arm off with her back. You know what I mean? So, but I got lots of cute pictures with her, and we named her Pumpkin because we got her right at Halloween. And
that's so cute.
She had orange in her fur, like a little orangey color to her fur, so we called her Pumpkin. Yeah. So yeah, she's cute. She was one of her. Well, we had Pumpkin, we had little Lori, and we had the bunny, Sunshine Bunny. And Sunshine Bunny had a heart on his back. He was so cute.
I remember that. Yeah,
he was cute. I should write a children's book about Sunshine Bunny.
You should.
I could do a children's book with Pumpkin and little Lori and Sunshine Bunny. Yeah, I could.
You really should. It would be nice.
Yeah, it'd just be fun to create some adventures for them.
Yeah, it would be really fun. My daughter-in-law, she rescued a kitten at a month old. Whoever had it just basically threw it out. She brought it home, and I have videos of me feeding it with an eyedropper because I used to watch it while they were at work. I used to watch the cat while they were at work, but we had to feed it with an eyedropper. And I thought, oh, this cat, I'm not so sure if it's going to make it because I've never done that before. Anyway, time had passed and the cat got a little bit older. My son's allergic to cats, and he's like, I'm going to be the last person the cat's going to like. He's going to like the kids. He's going to like my wife. Didn't it turn out the cat liked him best? Every night that cat my son takes Claritin just so he can be around the cat.
No, because he's allergic. Oh, no, that's bad, right? Yeah, that's always the way it is.
Him, my daughter, and my oldest grandson are all allergic to cats. And so is my mom.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know
but
if
the
I
cat
am.
liked him the best. The person that said,
that's always the way it is.
The person the cat liked the most.
Yeah. That's it. Well, Cecil didn't like all the fluffy hair and all that, you know, because Pumpkin was a big, fluffy tortoiseshell cat with long hair, like super long hair.
They're pretty cats.
Man, she was beautiful. Calico. That's what she was. Yeah, tortoiseshell calico. Yeah, they are beautiful, but their hair gets so thick and matted. And we used to have to go get her shaved, and then it would grow back nice, you know. So we'd go get her shaved once in a while because it was so thick. She would just be out like sitting on the patio because she couldn't go very far. We didn't want her out there because she was an indoor cat, and we kept thinking, oh, she'll get hurt, right? Well, one time we lived in this duplex, and the cat got out, and there was another cat through the yard, and I think she saw it, and that's why she wanted to go out. And I don't know who let her out, me or Cecil, somebody let her out. And thinking it's cool, she'll sit on the back patio like she usually does. She went around the front and took a huge chunk out of that cat. There was seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, she just beat that cat up. Took a big chunk, like big chunk out of that cat. It was just laying there, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that cat's probably gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and the cat was gone. And I'm like, she can't go out because she's gonna hurt the other cats. That's the thing. I was afraid of her getting hurt, but she was definitely a vicious cat.
Wow. I started laughing, but I didn't know she was gonna bite the other cat.
Yeah, I don't know whether she bit that chunk out or scratched it out or something. I don't know. I probably bit it. I wouldn't doubt it. But I think she was just, she was just defending her territory. She was like, "This is my spot, not yours, and you're not coming here." But I was like, "Okay, she can't go out now." And even the mailman was afraid of her. The mailman, because
what'd you do to this cat?
Actually, no, we just spoiled the cat. I think the cat was terribly spoiled. That's the problem.
What'd you do to this poor cat?
Yeah, that was Pumpkin. She liked pizza. Cecil would give her give her a piece of pizza. I'd be like, honey, don't give her the pizza. She doesn't need pizza. That's human food. They don't really need. Well, he's like, if they were out in the alley, they'd be eating all the garbage out there. I'm like, yeah, but this isn't an alley cat. Like, we give her regular food. He's like, oh, come on, honey, just a little pizza. So I give her a piece. She'd eat the whole topping off and the cheese and all that, whatever was on there, and lick all the tomato sauce off around the bread, leave the rest, leave the crust. And she had to have her own bacon. If we made bacon, yeah, she had to have her own bacon. She couldn't have a piece of your bacon. No. That wasn't going to cut it. You know what I mean? Like, Cecil spoiled this cat bad. I mean, really bad. Like, she had to have her own plate with bacon. Like 2 strips, not 1 strip. I'm like, this cat is bad spoiled. Pork tenderloin. If we made pork tenderloin, she had to have pork tenderloin. And it had to be the whole piece. It couldn't be a tiny little thing. Yeah, no, she was really spoiled.
That's it. We'll cook steak on the grill, and we'll cut it up and give it to the dog. And people's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, my boy needs a piece of steak."
Mm-hmm.
He just, I don't know.
They're probably like thinking, "I need that piece of steak."
They're just like kids or something.
Good. Give it to me.
They're just like big babies.
That's funny. Nothing wrong if you can spoil your pets. Why not? You know what I mean?
I try to be very good.
They don't live that long.
I do. I try to be good to them.
You guys are good to your pets. We were too.
It's funny because when we let him out in the backyard, you'll see him running around, like he'll run around the whole yard in a big circle, and then he'll start barking, and it's like there's nobody there, but he still barks because he has to.
Well, it feels good, because he's been stuck inside, and it's like that dog thing. It's like run around, bark, woo woo.
And then
I can see
girl, it. She goes outside, she does her thing, and she's right back inside, and she's looking out the door at him like, "Well, be out there running around. I don't care."
Funny.
Animals are so cool. They
are. They're so funny. Yeah, they are just a trip. Yeah, that's the one thing I miss, I always said after little Lori that I wasn't going to get any more, because I thought, cats can live like 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. I mean, unless you want to get a senior's cat that you specifically go get an old cat who only has maybe a year or 2 left. And just give them a good home for a couple of years. You know what I mean? That would be something that I could do, but I'm not allowed to in this building, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So where I'm at, they won't allow any pets except for a fishbowl, and it has to be 1 like goldfish in 1 little bowl.
Oh my goodness.
That's all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it can't be a tank or anything. Well, they're just worried about people not looking after them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's too bad, you know what I mean? Because I love pets. But I thought about it and I thought, yeah, maybe, just maybe. I'll see what I can do for next year. Not this year because I'm too busy trying to get in shape. But next year, I'm going to see if I can volunteer for one of the animal shelter services.
You would be good at that. You would be so good at that.
Because I love animals, you know, and it's, you know, I can't have pets where I'm at. So I could always volunteer my time, you know what I mean? But, you know, not like 40 hours a week. We're talking micro volunteering.
I did a little bit at the local animal shelter. I donated some time, and like you would take the dog a walk or, you know, just like feed them or give them treats, all kinds of things. And it was actually fun. It really was.
That's awesome.
I enjoyed it. And it was something different, something different to do.
That's right. It's just like Lee when she was doing all that shelter work for the animal shelters in Florida there. And she loved it. And yeah. And it's nice to, you know, if you like animals, it's a nice way to give back, to be a part of something that's good, you know.
And it's rewarding. So, it's really rewarding to do something nice, you know, just to do something nice for, I just think it's so rewarding. Lee loved it. I mean, she would come home and she would call me and she would tell me about her day, and she was always so excited to share about the animals. And she loved the adoption events to get them adopted and find them just the perfect home. And it's funny because she used to always say a lot of the animals would pick their owner. And I used to be like, what do you mean they pick their owner? And she's like, they literally would pick their owner. Like the animal knew it would be a good fit for them.
I think they do. They have a sense, right? Because they can sense, I think, you know, they have way more senses than they use more senses than we do. So I think they automatically can pick out the one that seems right for them. You know what I mean? If it's an animal that wants more of a quiet type, you know, somebody who's not so rambunctious, they'll go for that. But if it's an animal that wants like, I want fun, I want excitement, you know, maybe they can sense that, you know what I mean? Who knows, right? Because they are smart. Animals are very, very smart.
It's funny, you know, I mean, when I go to the animal shelter, I want to bring all of them home, like absolutely all of them.
That's just it. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Seriously, I see those things on Facebook where people will post those, you know, animal needs home, because I subscribe to our local animal shelter here on Facebook, and I always see their posts, and I'm like, they're like, oh, older cat needs home, and I'm like, oh, I could give it such a good home, you know. I'm just praying that somebody does, you know what I mean?
Yep, you would.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd have all the cats. I'd be the old cat lady with all the cats.
I can see you.
I would. I'd have a cat over there, you know, several cats. Like not like a crazy amount of cats, you know, but
you'd take them all.
You know, numerous
you would take cats, everyone they have.
I would.
You would.
I would. Yeah.
It's just your nature.
I love animals. Yeah. I do. I care about them. I know we both, all of, like me, you, and Lee, we really do care about animals.
I love animals. I can't be
those are God's creatures.
Right now, I'm obsessed with those little eaglets, and Jackie and Shadow eaglets, and they named them. So the big chick is Sunny, and the little chick is Gizmo. They let vote on the name, and I get up first thing this morning. I get up and I put the YouTube feed on, and I'm like, I gotta see my chicks this morning. I'm just so obsessed with that. You know, we have a big eagle's nest not far from our house, probably I'd say the length of a football field, and it's a huge nest. I'm telling you, I just can't realize. You don't realize how big they are until you see one. They're big, but then they're also like deep. They're very deep in the nest. But I'm obsessed with these little chicklets. I've been watching these little eaglets since they were born.
They're cute, man. Like I've been watching.
I call them the little chicklets.
Instead of eaglets, chicklets. Yeah, they're cute. They're so cute. I've been watching that New York Preppers. He has an eagle cam on his, and it's somewhere in Pennsylvania, some farm in Pennsylvania.
He's not too far from me.
And
he's not too far from
me. I don't think it is, because he lives not that far from you. He's just north of you, I think. So I don't know how many miles. But yeah, I think he's
without saying either of our locations, he's not very far from me.
That's right. So he's got an eagle cam up. It belongs to somebody. It's a farmer's cam, and on somebody's land. But I thought we were watching the same eagle cam until you told me that yours was in California, and I was like, "Oh, this one's in Pennsylvania." And I didn't know there was more than one eagle cam. But anyway, they're all having their babies. So this one has 2 babies as well, 2 little eaglets, little chicklets. Yeah, chicklets.
I turn them on and then I'll say, "There's my little chicklets." I had them on the other morning, and Roger's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm watching my chicklets." And he goes, "I think they're called eaglets." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I just call them my little chicklets." They're just so sweet.
Like, you're watching your chicklets?
It's kind of like fun because they got these big like feet, and they're trying to like learn how to use their wings, and then they're bonking heads with each other. They're just so cute.
They're cute. They are cute. That's a beautiful thing to watch, like, and I think this is stuff that, I don't know, you either have an appreciation for this stuff or you don't. That's all I can say. I've always been interested in animals, and I've always loved like birds. When I was very young, I had a total, almost an infatuation with birds. And I remember there was in elementary school, there was one teacher who would, she had some sort of a thing where you could, if you brought in, you could order so many of these bird prints, and they were like 8x11s, and somebody had done them cartoon style bird prints. They were colored and everything, absolutely beautiful. And you could order them, and I think you'd get like 4 for a quarter or something like that. It was really cheap. And so I'd always ask my mom for money to get these bird prints, because these bird prints were so important to me. I was only probably like in 3rd grade.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I just love animals, you know what I mean? And these bird prints just, for some reason, were so important to me to have. So my mom would give me the quarter, and I'd go to school and I'd get my bird prints. And I had them for a long, long time. Now I don't have them anymore. Unfortunately, I didn't save them that long, but I kept them for a long, long time. And yeah, birds. I love birds, and I love squirrels and all the creatures. All the critters. They're all God's creatures. Yeah.
I just remember when I told you last year that fawn was born in our yard. I took a picture.
That's so cool.
I took a picture of it, and I'll have to show it to you tomorrow. I just got it back. I had it blown up into a 16x20. Oh. That picture is out of the world. It's incredible. It's huge.
That's
and
awesome.
I want to hang it in the one room downstairs, but it turned out so good. I was so protective of that little guy when he was born, because all the kids like going by, although they didn't come in the yard, I'm like, I don't want them throwing sticks, and I don't want them throwing rocks, and I don't want to buy that little, because he was
I know. You're like, don't let him anywhere near that.
Listen, he was like born. He was born, and like an hour later, his mother left him for like 12 hours. And I thought, he's down there, and knowing a kid, they would go down and touch him, and then the mother wouldn't take him back. And then I'll never
scary stuff.
I kept going out and checking and going out and checking. And Roger said to me, he's like, if you quit going out and checking, the mother will just come and take it back. And I'm like, sure. So I went to bed that night, and I got up the next morning super early, and it was gone. It was gone. And I looked further down across. I looked further down across the field, and it was with its mother.
Roger knows quite a bit. You know, he's smart. He's a smart man. That's hilarious.
He's very smart, and he's a great outdoorsman. Yes.
I was gonna say he knows the area. He knows all the animals in the area. So
yeah,
that was good advice from him. But still, I don't blame you for being that way. I'd have probably been the exact same way. Doing the same thing, you know, checking, is it still there? Is it still there? You know.
He's like, if you stop going out and checking it, the mother will come get it. And I'm like, sure. Well, I remember I get up super early. I went out and I'm like, it's gone. I'm like, well, how do I know that its mother took it? And he goes, look over there. And he pointed, and there was the mother with the baby in the field. It was
That's
cute.
So cool. Yeah, I mean, like, you're in the boonies, man. I know. I'm gonna have to bring bear spray just to go visit you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna feel comfortable without bear spray.
That video,
you guys are fine with it, but I'm not.
Okay. I sent you the video of the bear in our backyard. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, it's a little too close for comfort. You know, you got bears wandering through your yard and stuff. I mean, you go around one side and they're coming around the other side. That's a little too close for comfort for me.
Hey, you know what?
I wouldn't be going anywhere without bear spray.
What was so funny that night was I let the dog out, and I no more brought the dog back in, and the camera went off, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I looked, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And I started yelling. Roger come in and he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, look, there's a bear in the backyard. And then we can pull ours up on a screen, either the TV or whatever. And we're there watching this bear walk the whole way around our property. It was so cool. Just so cool.
It is cool. It's very cool. It's just a little too close for me. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like,
I love it.
I've seen too many of those videos where the bears come crashing through the windows.
Bears gone wild.
Yeah.
Bears gone wild. They're not going to get you.
But yeah, they're beautiful creatures. They're absolutely beautiful.
They are. They really are.
And I appreciate all of God's creatures. That's the thing, you know. It's like, you know, yeah. I mean, you have to have the proper respect for all of them. You know what I mean? And you know, yeah, you know, you just can't walk up to all of them and just be friends with them. But they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. Yeah. And just the other day, actually, it was yesterday. I was looking out. I was standing on the balcony in the building here, and I was looking, and there was seagulls, just gliding around. Like, there's 2 or 3 anyway. I don't know how many. You know, there's quite a few in the city right now. They come over from BC because the coast is. They literally come that far. They come.
Oh wow!
They're land gulls, like, but they will come in from the coast, and yeah, because it is because it's a 12-hour drive. It's quite a ways away. But we do have seagulls here, and everybody else just calls them names, you know, like shithawks, whatever. Aww. And I'm like, to me, okay, yeah, they do poop on stuff. Well, they have to go to the bathroom somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, you know, give me a break. Man just wants to squeeze out all the animals. Now, the earth was built for man to live on, but there has to be a balance. And I'm not really one of these tree-hugging people, you know? I'm not really a tree hugger. Because, man, I mean, we have to survive too, you know what I mean? But I think there should be a happy balance. And everybody's got to just have a little bit better attitude towards what's out there. Like, I look at those birds, and you know what I see is, I was thinking about it today when I actually saw them again, because they're hanging around in our area right now. They'll probably go somewhere else where there's more, like, food. They'll probably go hang around where there's, like, when the stampede's on, they'll want to go then, because all the food will be on the ground, and everybody will be throwing all their crumbs on the ground, and they'll be able to go. They'll get really fat during stampede. So that's a little slim chickens, right? But they'll have lots of food then. And so they're just flying around, and they're catching the breeze. And I thought, they are so absolutely so free. Like, just watching them fly. taking a few minutes to watch them fly. Usually I'm going somewhere, I'm busy, I'm doing something. You know, in our lives, we can get so busy that I got an appointment. I have to get this finished, you know, especially when you're young and you got so many things on the go. Even when you're older, you can still do that to yourself and put so many things on yourself that you just don't have time. And I'm sitting out there and I'm watching these birds and I'm thinking, total freedom, man.
Yep.
Just soaring through the air. And I waved at one of them like 2 days ago. So now it comes by because it's like, hey, you got a friend up there. And I'm like, hi, little bird. I'm thinking, oh God, people are gonna think I'm nuts, but I don't care. You know, whatever. I always talk to the cows too.
If you talk to them or you feed them, they'll come right back to you every time.
That's right. They will. Because they're like, this person sees me.
Yeah, I just got done saying yesterday we get gourds. I don't know if you know what a gourd is. It's like a ball on the bottom, and then it has like a hook at the top of it. It's like a melon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to say it's a melon, but it sort of reminds you of one.
Like a squash.
But like a squash. We dry them out, and then we'll put like a hole in them, and then you clean them out. We paint them and we hang them around, and then the birds will make a nest in them and have babies. And I have this one.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's been there for like 6 years. And I just said yesterday, I'm like, it needs to come down and put a new one up, but they've already started moving in. So it's like, we just tacked it up the best we can.
Oh, wow.
So next year, after, when the fall comes, we're going to have to take it down and put a new one, put that one up new, but they have a nest in there, and they've come back every year for 6 years. These same,
wow, that's cool.
Birds. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love stuff like that. I do. Yeah. I love birds, I do too. I love animals.
Yeah. I'm going to tell on myself. Remember I used to get in trouble because on my balcony at the old place where I used to live, I used to harbor pigeons.
I remember.
I'd get in so much trouble. They'd be like, and finally I told them, I said, look, I get that you don't want them here, but the thing is like, they've already had their babies, and I'm not killing those babies, and I'm not going to do anything to harm those birds. I said, so when the babies are gone, I'll shoo them off. You know what I mean? They're like, and they were like, finally, after a while, after so many years of bitching at me about it, they were like, look, we know you like the birds. Okay. we know you care about them, that you like them. We know you're not feeding them. You're not enticing them to come. Because I wasn't feeding them, because you're not supposed to do that. They have to go get their own food. But they were safe there, exactly. And I just didn't want them to get attacked, exactly. And they were like, but as soon as those little ones go, you have to clear them out. I'm like, I will. So I made a promise I would. So I did. But I was almost in trouble for harboring pigeons. I'm like, but people get all upset about them birds, but they're not all disease carrying. I checked into that. It's such a load of shit. Some of them are, you know what I mean? They're not all disease carrying, and they're not all bad, for your area or anything like that. I checked on the ones where in our city, and there's nothing wrong with them. And those are beautiful birds, and people just call them names, and I'm like, all these people that are so mean to animals, so mean to children, so mean to their neighbor, so mean to everybody else, have nothing good to say, try to hurt them, try to kill them, whatever. You're gonna answer to God. I hope you know that. You know what I mean? And it's absolutely true. That's my message for you tonight. As we finish off the show, just remember, whatever you do, you're gonna stand in the judgment. You will. And so, this is the world that God made for us and created for us. And we really, as I said, I'm not a tree hugger, but the thing is I do care a whole lot about this creation that we live in. We really all should try to be doing a better job of taking care of the people in it, the animals in it, and the earth itself. You know what I mean? So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? We all live here, right? Yeah. So be kind. That's what you said earlier. So that's another one of our big messages for tonight is be kind. Be kind to Every opportunity you have to be kind.
Yeah. It doesn't cost anything to be kind to somebody. Like,
that's right.
It doesn't cost anything. It's a free gesture. You can make somebody feel really good.
Exactly.
And not just that. Did you ever meet somebody and you don't know it, but they're going through such a hard time? And then you show them this little random act of kindness, and it changes everything for that person. And I even tell the kids in my class, you don't know what somebody's going through. So just be kind. It might, really make a difference. And I met somebody that was going through a really, really hard time. And I didn't know she was going through a hard time. And we got talking, and she said, "Thank you very much for being kind to me." And I said, "You don't have to thank me for being kind." And she says, no, I do. She said, I really needed to talk to you. I really needed to talk to somebody that just would listen to me. And she said, I really like that. And she goes, I respect you. And I said, it doesn't cost anything to be kind to anyone. But she needed that lift me up, and it changed everything for her. So be kind.
That's right. That's right. This world would be a better place if everybody would do that. When you think about it, we wouldn't have the crap going on this earth if everybody would be like that. Just be kind. I think it's so important. Spread the word. Spread the message, Yeah. It's important. Absolutely. Well, it's about 1:15. I don't know if how long you want to stay on, Boo, but
I got school tomorrow.
It's early for me. It's only 11 o'clock here, but it's 11:15 for me, but it's 1:15 for you. I know.
Okay. Yeah, I got school tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to work tomorrow. That's right. I can sleep in like no biggie, but if I want to get up and do my Tai Chi, I have to go to bed at a good time.
Early.
So you have to go. You literally have to go to work.
I literally hit the snooze button twice on my clock this morning, and I never do that. I never do that. I hit snooze twice this morning.
Yeah. Tomorrow it'll probably be 3 times. So yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for being with us. If you listened on the replay and you caught this as just a video and you've made it this far, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
And share this channel out. We're a new channel. We're just getting started. We're sharing it around, but we need your help as well. So if you like what we do and you like to share a sort of somewhat of a message of positivity, we are Women Like Me, and we're Donna and Lori, and we want you to share the channel out if you like what we do. And join us here and join us in the chat. And, you can, we're basically talking about anything and everything that just comes up. So, join us, say hello. And thanks, everybody. We appreciate you being here. So until next time, Donna. Next week, let's see, what do we got going on next week? Are we going to mention next week's show? Because
you can. I'm excited. Yeah, you can. I'm excited about
it. All right. Next Wednesday night, our regular time, we are having a discussion about our documentary that's coming out. This is a documentary that Donna spearheaded, and it's called Voices for the Voiceless, advocacy documentary. And it's a group of advocates that got together, and this was Donna's idea. So it's all coming together, culminating for Donna's 30th anniversary of advocacy work in the field of advocacy. Donna's given 30 years of her life to this, and April 8th is her 30th anniversary coming up here next Tuesday. So we are going to have a documentary coming out as a premiere on we might link it to this one as well, but it's going to be on another channel, actually. Or is it going to be on this one? Where do we want to? It can
be on this one too.
You want to have it over here as well? Okay, because we can link it to a few different ones, right? So,
definitely.
So if you want to join us there, we'd appreciate it, because it's going to be the premiere. And there were several advocates, including myself and Donna, that were in on this documentary. And it's just going to be a little bit of an insight into the world of advocacy.
Uh-huh.
And what we hope to achieve and our hopes for the future advocates out here who are coming up behind us. There were advocates before us, ahead of us, who passed the baton to us. Now we're passing the baton to them because it's their turn to take on that role, you know what I mean, and to go for it. And so Donna did 30 years. Most advocates do not stay in it 30 years. They just don't. It's hard on a person to work to stop and prevent child abuse, to stop and prevent violence really against anybody, animal abuse, mainly child abuse prevention, and working to change laws, right?
Yes.
So this is so exciting. This is absolutely so exciting. It's a real honor to be able to be a part of this with you, Donna, and it's your 30 year. So I would hope that if anybody catches this video, I'm going to be putting the links down here as well to the other one. Just for any reason, you don't see it over on this one, you can go to where the original place where it's going to be, and so there's a couple places you can catch the link, right? So that's Tuesday night. Then Wednesday night we're going to be back here on Women Like Me, and we're going to actually discuss the actual documentary. And Donna's really her life advocating. The 30 years that she gave of her life to make a difference in people's lives and to make a difference to stop and prevent child abuse. This is a big issue, people, because she did this for no money. Would you give 30 years of your life for no money?
I would do it again.
Would you? It's a big question, but so many of us have. Donna gave 30. I've given almost 20, and I would do it all over again as well.
Me too.
It's not about the money. It was never about the money. For some people, it's about the money, but not for us. And we did, like Donna did this because she wanted to make a difference and to create positive change in this world for children, for adults, for everybody. You know what I mean? For animals. So I hope you, I'm excited about this. So
Me too.
Next Tuesday, documentary coming out. I'm going to actually put the links in the bottom of this chat here, but we'll have it. It will be streaming. Oh, yes, it will be streaming at Women Like Me, as well as a couple other places. That's right. So you can check here or look on Women Like Me, our Facebook page. If you haven't gone over to our Women Like Me Facebook page, you should go over there because we do update there as well. So you can hang out with us there. And we're also on Spotify. Check our links below. They're all down there. Just give them a little click. You can find all of our stuff. And thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing our stuff out. Thank you for your support, and we will catch you next week for a sort of a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday double feature. All right. All right, Donna. I hope you have a good night.
You too. You too.
I will do. Yeah,
I will talk to you tomorrow.
I'm working on the documentary. That's right. That's right.
You're going to be working, and I'm going to be sleeping.
That's right. Yeah, I got a few things to do, but it's exciting, and I'm so thankful to be part of it because this has been a wonderful. Really, it's been a wonderful experience, and it
has been.
You, and yeah,
I'm honored to work with you and Lee and all the ones that come before you. It's been such a great experience. I learned so much. I worked on 3 laws. I had that opportunity, and it was just incredible. So, I'm thankful, and I'm grateful. I tried to make a difference in the lives of children. I wanted.
You did.
Best, so.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even count all the people's lives that you touched. And all the children's lives, that literally real children's lives that you helped to prevent, from being killed, from being saved from child abuse. You've really done some wonderful work. And like I said, I was telling Donna because when you work for some sort of a big organization, for instance, Prevent Child Abuse America or whatever, you're working for some big government thing, 30 years, they're going to do some big thing for you. And you know what I mean? But But when you're an advocate out here and you're working for not for profit, and you're not getting paid, you're not on a salary roll, and you've got 30 years in, you know, there will be some people who will know what you've done, but not very many. And I told her, I said, you want to know who really knows what you've really done? God. God saw it all. And I tell you, you've got such a massive reward coming in heaven. He's going to be like, look what you did, daughter, with what I gave you. Yeah. You know, you worked so hard to save children's lives. I mean, so hard. To me, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? And I know to a lot of people it is. But it is really special to me and really extremely important to me because I'm a survivor of child abuse. And so anybody who's fighting for children to save children's lives, and fighting to change the laws to protect children is big time in my books. So I just really appreciate it. I really do. You're one of my heroes. You really are.
Ditto.
Seriously, I just so much. All right, everybody. We're looking forward to next week, and we'll see you later. Take care, everybody.
All right. Have a nice day, everyone. Night, Lo. Talk to you tomorrow.
That's right. Nighty night. Sweet dreams.